everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of What's It Really Worth? Today we're going to be reviewing Conan by Monolith Games, right, Rich?
Yep. Looking forward to some discussions on this one.
Yeah, okay. So, well, before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about what's new in our world. Not that you may care, but we like to talk about it anyway. How was Comic-Con? Now, we know we brought that up last time, right?
Comic-Con was awesome. As if you follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, you would have seen the videos, some of the stills that I took there. It was a great time. Comic-Con always is. Yeah. It's crowded, but you expect that.
You went on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I went on Saturday. My nephew and I went out, and we probably spent way too much money. But
Always.
Not too much on the game front. Like I said, the video I posted, somebody was running a demo of Scott Pilgrim, the card game, which looked like it was a lot of fun. I'll have to take another look at that one. But other than that, I mean, most of it is pop culture and comic related. So only maybe a half dozen places actually had games.
Good, but you had a good time.
Had a good time.
Always do at Comic-Con. For me, what's new? Just been doing a lot of stuff related, kind of get the show running a little bit. And went to see Blade Runner 2049. No spoilers. You don't have to turn anything off, skip ahead. Just saying, loved it. If you're a fan of the original, sci-fi noir Blade Runner, picks up where it left off in a really almost seamless fashion, really gets you into the world, expands on it, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really one of the better movies I've seen this year, so very excited by it. So let's get to the review. Conan is by Monolith Games. It was a Kickstarter originally, right, Rich?
Yep.
The game has a pretty hefty price tag at $120. It does play 2 to 5 players. In that box, you're going to get 4 unique boards, 70 miniatures, which that's a great value. You're going to get the Book of Skelos, which is what the Overlord uses, resource gems, tiles, and some cards and dice. So we're going to take shots of that and show them to you in a little bit. The play time of the game is about 45 to 60 minutes once it's set up, but setup can get a little heavy, 10 to 20 minutes sometimes to set the game up. It is a little, it requires a lot there. So let's talk about some of the scores it got.
All right, sounds great. So first up, MSRP. Our panel scored it at, what do we got there, 4.25?
Yeah.
So just over a 4. And I think that, for everything you get with this game, it is absolutely worth it. The 70 minis alone, $120, 70 minis, even that those are plastic, it's, minimal for anybody who likes games that involve a lot of miniatures to them.
Now these were cast, right, Rich? I believe, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, they were cast minis. So you're looking at an actual sculpt that was poured and filled.
Correct.
Okay, so the quality, the paint quality looks like it's there. I've seen some people painting them on the Conan Facebook page. They look great. So, okay, setup time, they had it at a 3. I can see your face on that one's a little bit.
I mean, I have limited game time sometimes, and the more time it takes for the game to get set up, the more difficult it is for me to get it out on the board, out on the table.
Yeah.
If I've got to place all the stuff and everybody's just sitting around waiting for me to get ready, kind of a downer for me.
Yeah. No, and the people that we had on this panel, we did have a group of heavy board gamers, very resource management type people too. And that's sort of how that score crept up a little bit, because they were used to putting out like Lorenzo the Magnificent and Agricola, where they're 15, 20 minutes every time.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway, so that kind of shifted that one, I'm sure. Next was Learning Curve.
Learning Curve. The game itself isn't particularly complex. The dice are very simple. There's axes on them. 1 to 3, 0 to 3 axes, actually. And it's just a matter of knowing which dice to roll. You have some card effects, some card bonuses that they add in as well. But overall, the actual gameplay, the mechanics of it, once you get started, not that bad.
No, the problem originally with the game was that when the original game was produced, it was produced in French, which isn't a problem in itself being French. The problem was the English translation version was absolutely unbearable. It really messed up with the game a lot. So for free, they did go ahead and post a new version 2.0. The rules are much more concise, much clearer, and solved a lot of problems. But if you got the game out of Kickstarter or the English format game, ton of questions, ton of issues.
Now, if somebody finds this in their local retail store now, is it going to have those 2.0 rules in them?
As far as I know, no. They're still finishing up the original one.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, that is true still. After that was replayability. There are 12 scenarios in the basic box set. And I've had the game a year, I've played it a lot, and you will find that certain scenarios you just want to play again and again. So I find the replayability good for strong, but I think there's a lot of replayability in it.
I think there's a lot of replayability in it. My issue, and this is where Bruno and I are going to tend to disagree, is I spotted very quickly that the Overlord player could make life miserable for the rest of the players. There are certain things set in place, the way the setup is, the way the rules are run, where the Overlord can very quickly make it difficult for the players to complete their missions on time. And that's the other thing, is everything is on a time scale.
Usually it's a timer, yeah.
So you only have so many turns to get through your mission. And in some cases, the intro mission, there's a dozen huts, and the Overlord can place the captured princess in any one of these.
Right.
There's no time to check them all. Just the way it is, the way movement is set up, and some of the figures that are in play, and an Overlord who's more interested in beating the players as opposed to providing a good time could make this miserable.
Yeah, that's true. There is some of that to it. I think the game has to be remembered for what it is. It's supposed to be a heroic saga game. It is resource management driven, and cooperative play is key. You have to be the players have to be talking and working together. An Overlord can make it miserable, but I have seen people, even when I've been in Overlord miserable mode, win, but it's much tougher. It definitely shifts the balance. And the last one is popularity of genre, which you want to discuss a little bit. This category is under management review.
So, originally when we were discussing popularity of the genre, we focused a lot on the name that comes with it. And in the case of Conan, it's a very well-known property. It's easy to find people who know who Conan is.
Yeah.
Does that mean this game is going to hit the table more often? Now, if your group loves Conan, loves miniature board games, yeah, they're probably going to have this out at least through the 12 scenarios. If your players are not Conan players, maybe if they're just regular board gamers, they like all types of board games, is the fact that this is Conan really going to make it more valuable to them or not? So, in discussing popularity of the genre, we're going to kind of expand that a little bit to not just the name that's attached to it, but whether or not it's a co-op game, whether or not it's a family-friendly game. That popularity is going to shift depending on who the players are.
Right. And for the family-friendly game that Rich was discussing, this game is rated mature. The themes are mature. It was written by a writer who was working in the pulp era, which was the late 20s, early 30s. Mm-hmm. So he had different visions of what the world was about. It was a pulpy type story, which meant damsels in distress, heroes, scantily clad girls for the covers of the magazines, and you do get some of that in the look of the game because they're trying to be very, very true to Howard's world, which actually to me is a benefit because I think they have captured the look and feel of it amazingly.
Absolutely. I mean, the artwork they've got for this, when we see some of the stills from it, it's beautiful. The maps are beautiful. There's just lots of detail, lots of things you just want to look and see what they've done.
Yeah. So the popularity of the genre came out at a 3.5.
Which I think is fairly accurate for the game. It is Conan. It is a co-op game. And, the replayability of it all kind of factors into that
Yep.
popularity.
So overall, it got a 17.75, which is a pretty good score.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about let's have the conversation now. Because we knew it was coming. We've been actually waiting to have this conversation on camera for 2 weeks. So go ahead, open up.
All right. So, like I said, when it comes to replayability, I spotted right away, being taught the rules the first time I'm playing the game, I spotted very quickly how the Overlord could really screw with players. Not make it impossible, but make it unfun to play.
Right.
And to me, that is an issue depending on your gaming group. If you have that person who owns the game, who's going to be the Overlord, and is going to be a jerk, to put it nicely about things, this game might not come out that often. If you have somebody who really wants to tell a good Conan story, and they don't care about beating the players, but they just want to give them a good challenge, this game will be a lot of fun.
Yeah. My wife interesting to that point. I've played it with my wife now. She's played maybe 2 or 3 times, and she's really heavy on resource management games. That at the heart of this, take away all the veneer of the Conan. It is about moving resources that you have. They're very limited resources. It's one resource, basically fatigue. But it's moving the gems from what actions you do into a fatigue pile, and as you get wounded, the pile of what is available to you narrows and thins. So you lose gems as you take damage. What that means is it's all about attrition and resource management. So once I painted that picture for her on this game, she actually started to enjoy playing it a little bit more. But at first it was, I don't want to play a barbarian game. I don't feel like a barbarian today. Well, just tough. Play the game with us. So yeah, there's definitely some of that. And you're right. The Overlord's power in the game is, it is what it is. I mean, it's 4-on-1 sometimes, 3-on-1. The Overlord has, but he also has a lot of management issues. An Overlord that doesn't do a good job managing his crystals, he can be as much of a jerk as he wants. He won't have the power to stop you.
To stop you, no. But there are a couple of things within the game. The Hulk figures.
Mm-hmm. In the first scenario, yeah.
Right. They can prevent prevent Conan from moving anywhere on the board.
Right.
If the Overlord manages them correctly, he can pin Conan in place, and that means it's up to the other 2 players to try and solve this.
Yep. And that's actually how most of the groups have won. Conan is busy just taking massive groups of men out while the others are searching the huts. Right. That is one of the ways of winning that you get. Okay, so let's talk. Components are awesome. 17.75. Where do you sit on the final rating of the game?
I think the final rating of the game is perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do have issues with certain aspects of the mechanics, but overall, I had a great time playing. The players had a great time playing, and that's really what it comes down to. And I think for what you get, even if you never pull the game out that often, never pull it out often, I like that.
That's not appropriate. not safe for work. NSFW across the bottom of the screen.
So, even if you don't pull the game out often, if you just get it for the miniatures, if you just happen to like the Conan style miniatures, the game's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be using miniatures in Frostgrave. I'm going to be setting up my Conan Frostgrave group. So yes, it will be happening. For me, 17.75, it's right there as well. I would have been okay with an 18.5 as well, going up a little bit higher, just because for me, this is my childhood. I read The Savage Sword of Conan, as it was coming up. Love the movie.
Which one?
Destroyer. Well, even the new one had merit. It had its moments with Jason Momoa. I thought he was a good Conan. I think they went above and beyond where they needed to early in the movie with the scene of his mother being the breech birth on the battlefield and everything. I'm like, so I mean, but yes, I like both the movies, the original Conan and this. The Destroyer I didn't appreciate too much, but anyway, thought it was great. Like I said, keeps to the whole genre of the game and of Howard's vision for the world. Other than that, all I can say is that the pieces are gorgeous. I have no regrets about this, and there's been there's already 2 expansions for it. They're $60 a piece. You don't get quite as many minis. You do get a whole new set of boards, tiles, character cards. So it does add to it, and I've played the 2 that are out. I own them, and I've played them, and they are, again, in my opinion, balanced, but I don't tend to be an overlord that tries to jerk it up too much. That's just the way I play. I try to make it fun for the players first, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've seen, just looking at forums, looking at what other people are posting about, the value for this game, Monolith doing it now would probably charge $200 and up to get it.
Yeah.
Because apparently they make little to lose money every time this game is sold. So if you can get it that $120 price, grab it if you're a Conan fan, or even if you just like miniature board games.
Yep. Okay. So that pretty much wraps up this episode. We promised you one to review a show. We're going to try to keep to that, which at least that's what the show's about, so we'll do that. The next one's going to be Hot Shots in episode 3. Rich, thanks for playing this. I'm glad you liked it. When I heard we were going to have a conversation, I thought the conversation was going to be a table tip.
I have my reservations about certain aspects.
Right.
But again, I think just for the value you get for the pieces is absolutely makes the game worth it.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's Conan by Monolith. We'll see you next time on episode 3 for Hot Shots by Fireside Games.
All right, sounds great.
Good night, folks.
Okay, and here's the final numbers on Conan by Monolith Games. MSRP value, 4.25. Setup playtime, 3. Learning curve, 3. Replayability, 4. And the popularity of the genre, 3.5. For a total game appraisal by us at 17.75.